Hello everyone, it's Gigabeef here, and today I'll be showing you how to quickly complete all of the starter town missions to move on to the more interesting ones, beginning with Meds Wanted. This first one requires you to find a box inside this kind of white medical area with a truck and a few tents. Now I will point out here that this is from the Mithras perspective, so all the towns are very slightly different but look mostly the same from the other factions. But this means that it won't be exactly where it is on the map for me, for you if you're either on Crimson or Lemang. So this will give you a good enough reference. It's near the water tower, you can see where it is on my map, and it's going to be in roughly the same place for the other two factions, but the map will look a little bit different. Go into the right hand side building and you will be able to find the box on a shelf just here, and just make sure that you have a space for 2x2 because the box is quite big and you need to bring it back to her to complete the quest. Next up from Gunny, we have cache retrieval. This one you'll be able to accept at the same time as the first quest, and we need to mark 2 caches, one in the warehouse and one in the lumberyard. It does give you the grid references so you can compare this to your map. This will help if you're on the other factions. Do make sure that you bring 2 markers with you because you will have to put those down on the caches to make sure you complete the quest. So bring those with you and then go to the 2 locations. The first one is just in a little room next to a large lumber camp area which has a big roof and a small second story area. It's in the building next to that and you pop the marker in the box. The other one is in the corner of the building labelled warehouse, which is near to the construction site and the convenience store, and it's on the outskirts of town, so it should be fairly obvious within the grid reference. Go in there and pop the tracker in to complete it. The last quest you get right at the start is First Recon from Handshake. You have to just go to 3 separate areas: the gas station, the convenience store, and the demolished building. Gas station is around the edge of town, and just go to the coordinates. It should be fairly obvious and looks something like you can see on screen here. The next one is the convenience store, which is kind of in between the marketplace, which is this bit up here, the construction site, and where we set off the first cache. It's quite obvious because of how white the building is and it looks like a shop. Finally, the demolished building is near to the motel. It's on one of the streets and you can see a bulldozer in the actual site, so you just walk in and you're able to gather that quest as well. After handing all of these in, you'll get a new set of quests, the first one of which from Handshake is Little Bird Down. We have to go and find the chopper, and it is very close to the 3rd LZ, which you normally find by going north of the gas station, as it says in the quest, and the helicopter is hidden in the end of the forest along this little spit over here. That's not the end of the quest though, because you have to go and find out what happened to the rest of the crew. There's a little set of farmhouse buildings very close by, so you go and visit that, and after killing the AI and getting inside, you can find 2 bodies, which will then allow you to complete the quest. The next one from Gunny, Leave No Man Behind, was the first one that I started to have a little bit of trouble with because it doesn't tell you really where to go other than you need to go around the town hall. You do need to bring a GPS tracker with you, so make sure that you have that on you when you go to find the body. On Mithras, this is near to the town hall as it says, and it's down a little alleyway around quite a closed off section of buildings. It's not too far, so you should be able to scale the area and find it once you see, but it's not in a patch of vegetation or anything like that. It's down a concrete sort of alleyway. Drop the marker onto the body and you should be good to go. The next one from Labrat that you usually get at the same time as well is Lost and Found, to find Kanoa Sinarath. Now this was another one that I found quite annoying, but it's up near the logging shed where we dropped off the first cache marker, and also somewhere near the water tower. You just have to find this building which is nearby and go inside, and there's a few metal doors, and it looks like there's a lot of concrete or building materials inside this one particular area, and inside the office Kanoa is lying on the floor. Now the most important thing to remember about this is to take the medallion, because if you don't, you won't be able to complete the quest, and it doesn't tell you to do this before you get there. Bring this one back to Labrat and finish the quest. Restoring order from Handshake literally just requires you to kill AI inside the starter town, so that's extremely straightforward. And then the next one after that is Medical Detective coming from Gunny. This one requires you to do 2 things, so you need the doctor's office key first, so either ask around or go and kill AI until one drops, and then you need to go and find the doctor's house. You'll be able to see it because of the sign that specifically designates it as being the doctor's house from the outside. This is on the map where it is for me on Mithras, so it should be in a similar-ish position, I think, for the other factions, but if you look for that sign, then you won't go too far wrong. It was kind of towards the edges of the village. Once you've located it, go inside, unlock the door, and grab the doctor's diary off the desk and bring it back to base camp. Next up from Handshake, we have the Rat's Nest. For the intelligence in the northwest part of the town, you need to go and find a building with this particular marking on it. And once you do, when you go inside, you can then go and just grab the intelligence that is on the table. Again, I'll show you where it is on the map for Mithras, and it should be similar-ish for the other factions. The second one in the east part of the town is again near to the water tower and the convenience store again. You have to go upstairs and grab the mobile phone off of the desk. The next one is Secret Compassion from Labrat. She actually gives you 3 supply crates if you go and collect them in your messages, and if you do lose them, then you can go and buy some more from her. They don't cost that much, but you have to bring them with you and you have to put them in boxes around the map. The first one that I'm showing here is the one kind of on the way to Water Tower and Lumberyard again. It's on the outskirts of the village and there's a box outside of the front that you have to place it in. So look for these particular boxes because then you'll know you're in the right place. The logging shed in the southeast probably took me the longest to find, and this is near one of the checkpoints on the outside of the village. It's not actually that far from the first one, it's kind of on the same side of the map. The final one on the west side, you'll know you've got there because there is a house on stilts, and at the top of the staircase, you'll be able to find the box there. It's one of the close-ish farms on the outskirts of the village, kind of near to the gas station. The next one from Handshake is Helping Hand. We have to get to the restaurant, go upstairs, and we have to bring back the intel. But unfortunately for this one, you need another key. You need the attic key, which again drops on the AI. So you have to kill enough of them to be able to get this key or have a friend to help you out. The location of the restaurant is on one of the street corners and it is quite close to the motel, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. There's another place that kind of looks like it. You got to make sure that you're going to the right one, and sometimes when you get there you won't actually need to unlock the door because somebody else might have been there already before you, so maybe it's worth a check if you're in the area. The room is upstairs and the intel is on the chair. Another Handshake task, Radio Silence. This one is relatively straightforward. There is a house on the outskirts of the city. This one is kind of close to the warehouse and the motel if you kind of triangulate between the two of those. And it is upstairs. You just need to go into the building, go upstairs, break the equipment, and that will complete the quest for you. Another one from Handshake is First Hit that comes afterwards. You have to go to the marketplace and find the boss there, who is a guy with a red berry on. Once you kill him, you complete the quest. You basically just want to go through, scour all the AI around there. There's a lot of them, so just be careful, but once you've killed him, then that's it. Now, the next one from Labrat caused me quite a lot of problems just to be able to find the right place, and this was Native Negotiations. This is very important because it unlocks our first trader Artisan, who allows you to buy and modify AKs and Mosins. It's also slightly unusual because you have to grab a briefcase from inside the base first to take with you before you go out into the mission, so make sure you don't forget it. Once you're there, you should be able to find it somewhere between the construction site and the motel, but because it's not really on the road, you do have to do a bit of scouring. Once I realized that you could look for the roof of this large structure and what it looks like on the inside, it was much easier to find. So look for this particular roof and then go in and place the case underneath the truck. Two of the final quests in the base area can be handed into 2 different traders. So the first one is Reclamation, which comes from Handshake, and that also doubles up with Covert Research from Labrat, and you can actually hand in the item from this quest to either of them. You get more equipment from Handshake, you get more medical items from Labrat, and you get a key holder from both of them, so it's up to you as to which one you hand it into. The location itself is the fortified building, which is kind of up on a hill towards one of the LZs and is difficult to get into. If you try to attack it from the front, it's kind of all white stone with these nice kind of borders around it, but it's very hard to get in through the front. So what I like to do is go around the edge and go up one of the hills, because from that side you can take out the guy who's overlooking from a balcony, and then it's easier to get in that way. Before you start, remember to take a bag which is big enough to bring a 3x3 item, because this item is quite big and you'll need to be able to fit it into your bag to be able to take it away with you. Fortunately, it's quite close to the LZ, so this mission isn't actually that hard. Last Farewell from Gunny doubles up with Left Behind from Handshake. Both of these guys want you to go and find somebody, but Gunny wants you to put a marker on the body, whereas Handshake does not want you to. Either which way, you have to go to the same place for either of them. It's one of the farms, probably the furthest away from the gas station's side of the town. And once you're there, the person that you're looking for is actually outside on the floor. So scour around, find the body, and put a marker on it if you want to complete it for Gunny, and don't, and just bring the quest back for Handshake if you want to get his rewards instead. There's one more quest which we've now unlocked from Artisan called Tools of the Trade. We just have to go to a little house near the construction site, pick up a toolbox in there, and then take it back. You'll be able to see the location on the map here, and that is the final starter quest in the game so far. After you've completed some of these ending quests, you'll start to get quests outside of the starter area, and they'll also give you LZs as well. So there's no real reason to run across half the map to go and find these places, because the traders are going to give you at least one to start with, so you don't have to run across the entirety of the Grey Zone Warfare world to be able to unlock them. So hopefully this gets you started. As always, a big shout out to all my patrons, and as usual, have fun in Le Mans.